I was trying to think of one specific instance, but honestly, I feel like all of high school was kind of like one giant blended together instance of me feeling this like pang or sting of really just like me exploring my sexuality and how other people, specifically other men, chose, or boys, chose to interpret that.
My first memory about interacting with the word slut was in the 8th grade. It came from somebody who loves me and somebody I love, someone who's in my family and is very close to me. It really hit and it stung.
So my earliest memory of slut, of the term slut, or just the general idea of women being sexual and it being used as an insult or something to put them down, was in elementary school. I don't remember who it was, but I just definitely remember certain girls being perceived as, you know, slutty, which, you know, looking back on that seems absolutely insane.
The first time that I discovered that I was a slut, because it was told to me, I didn't decide that I was one, I was told that I was one, was actually by a parent, several parents of kids in my middle school class.
Everything from like me wearing a tank top and getting called into the dean's office because me wearing a tank top was distracting, but other people wearing one was not somehow, which made me hyper aware of my body and the effect that it had on the world around me, because I felt the sting of looking like a slut or looking like something I wasn't supposed to be.
In the 8th grade, I had a lot of older friends who were already in high school. So I was at a friend's house, we were trying on their homecoming dresses. So yeah, I mean, the dress, if I think about it now, kind of looked slutty. And I went outside and we were all taking pictures, and then my brother arrived at the house, who was also really close with all those friends, and he like straight up was mad at me for participating in dress up with these other girls because I looked like a slut. And that was like the first time it like jarred me, like, oh, somebody thinks I'm a slut.
I definitely remember in middle school too, like rumors being spread about girls that they're slutty or that they have herpes or something, you know. It's just, and it's always used to like put them down for sure. And it's just, it's definitely sexuality is, it was used as an insult.
My best friend's mom called my mom and let her know about a rumor about me, that I had given oral sex to all the boys in our middle school class. And I believe that rumor was meant to hurt me, but because I was a little rebel, there was something about the power inside of the possibility of being a slut that really fucking excited me.
And then me exploring my sexuality and like being with a guy and like in the moment feeling like it was like this moment of exploration and like me trying to like learn who I was and what I liked. And then the next week when I went to school, like people would talk about it either behind my back or like yell about it to me across the hall or outside. And it was very much acceptable for boys to talk about my sexual exploration in a way of like me being a slut and like making fun of me for it, where the same guys that I was hooking up with were like lauded for their achievements.
And then associating that word with cleavage, low cut, more skin, tight clothes. And then thinking like, oh, well, I don't want this person that I like look up to think those things about me, so I can't embody that anymore. And, you know, I just turned that switch off.
And it was in that moment that I learned the obviously false belief that my sexuality was a weapon and something to be used to control other people, something to be used to rebel, something that was about how it affected people outside of me, right? So I was not embodied inside of this excitement of exploring and embracing my sexuality, but I was using it in order to trigger other people.
And I feel like I kind of went back and forth between like wanting to hide it and just like feeling like the only way through it was like unabashed acceptance of like, this is what people are gonna call me, so I might as well just own it. And it was hard. It was a hard dichotomy of like feeling like I was just existing and exploring who I was as a person, and feeling that being so harshly judged by other people.
And to rebel, and so I did. And that was my experience, first experience with the word slut.
You like find ways to not get called a slut. Which is what I did.